You are listening to the Best of Harmony One podcast, your number one show for tips, tricks, interviews, and much more about the Harmony One ecosystem. Hosted by Antonio Mavs and In Her Jar Creations. Live in Harmony. Hello and welcome to the Best of Harmony One podcast. I am your host, Antonio Maps, and today, of course, this is our co host, Enhenjar. And today we are joined by two very important people, very interesting people too, with a very interesting project. We have Probably Priest and Doc Clock with us from the team of, is it DeFi Tower?
Correct.
Correct. Awesome. So, how about you guys introduce yourself and talk a little bit about your role in the DeFi Tower project and what the project is about.
Go ahead. Dot clock. Start us off, man.
All right. So, hey guys, once again, it's Dot Clock here. I'm that dude that's responsible for most of the art and the concept art that you see, which includes the level designs, the dungeon designs, and some upcoming animations as well, which will be included.
Cool. So what's and who is Probably Priest? What's your role on the team?
Hey guys. Hey guys. I'm probably Priest. I'm the community manager, but I'm also part of the team that helps design the game aspects of our game. So, I have a lot of experience in playing games for forever. So, we're trying to make our game about the gaming experience, not just you know, here's
Cool.
some money, get some tokens.
Cool. Cool. And can you tell us a little bit about DeFi Tower and what's the hook? What's the game about? Is it like
Sure.
is it just DeFi or
So,
like you said it's a game? Are we gonna see what are we gonna see in it?
absolutely. Sure. What I would expect to see from our first iteration is you're going to have an RPG experience. The gameplay itself is going to be very click in browser based to start with because we're working on trying to make sure that we have market validation for the work that we've been put in. So we have multiple levels designed, multiple quests. So what you're going to do is you're going to get to our website, DefiTower.one. You'll notice that there is load into like this awesome area that DocLock created. What'll happen is there'll be an NPC you'll be able to click on. That'll give you a story and give you a couple choices. Your choices will then have impact on what type of quest you can go on, to get you what kind of rewards. And then on the DeFi aspect, the project started when our lead devs decided that they wanted to bring some utility to projects that had been dying on the NFT side,
Mm-hmm.
um, and have actual functionality for all projects on Harmony. So it's not just something that can be utilized for a small number of projects. Both sets of NFTs that work on Harmony will work with our game, and we would be able to take them. However, there are limitations with smart contracts on the back end that will
Mm-hmm.
limit our ability to work with everyone. Sorry, guys, for who So you won't be able to just make your own NFTs and be like, hey, DeFi, we'll be able to like make our guys super awesome, right? Like, yeah, well, you're not like a verified project, so like, no, not yet. Maybe. Uh, and so like the first level, you're gonna play a little bit. It's gonna be block based interactions. So there will be some time between the interactions you're able to do. And the game's gonna develop from there. We have some plans for PvP, PvE, multiplayer together on the PvE side, iterative quests, randomized quests. Um, the gameplay aspect is where my specific focus is. On the lore side, there'll be like multiple factions. One side believes that like they build the tower and they climb the tower to like get closer to God, and the other side's like, what's God? Our life in the apocalypse kind of sucks major donkey. So why would we do this? And those would be the two elements on the PvP side. You'd be on the opposite ends. We can't really say exactly what we're going to do on that because what the game started as with our single dev 18 months ago with our first quest is not where we are in the development cycle with the next levels, if that makes sense. So, there's a tremendous amount of passion put into our project, considering our lead dev is the person who founded the project, and I'm not sure quite sure how quickly Dot Clock got into the the team. I was a late addition,
Mhm.
but they spent a lot of time together building the aspects of being able to craft gear in the blockchain, being able to take NFTs in and being able to put them in our vault and then give you components as a way to quote unquote dismantle them. Not every mechanic on the dismantling or the I'm sorry, not the dismantling on the NFT locking, or whether it be time gated or if it be a permanent surrender, that hasn't been decided for every project yet. But that's how that concept's going to work. And um, on the on the like the monetary side, right? Because everyone always wants to wonder, how, like, well, if it's a play to earn game, like why would I play to earn? We're not offering LPs that are going to give you our token right away, and then have other ones that are locked. You will have to play the game to unlock the token that you earn, if that makes sense. So, like, you'll provide liquidity. All right, your liquidity pairing will be one and our token, and then you will earn a little bit of soul while you do quests, very very tiny amount, and you'll also
Mhm. He- Hopefully he did not disconnect, because that was getting interesting. But in the meantime, while we can get him back, yeah, it looks like he got disconnected. But Dot Clock, could you tell us about the process of creating the art for DeFi Tower, and how's that been, and how it has evolved, and when did you start working on the game with them?
So yeah, sure, definitely. So I got into the project pretty early with Code Guy. He found me on like the internet shrubs, so to speak,
Mm-hmm.
like a couple of weeks after starting the project, I think it was, or maybe even after like a month. So yeah, we've been working for quite a bit together now. And usually the whole art process specifically starts with a small brief from Code Guy.
Mm-hmm.
So a brief is basically just a small description of what we would like to see. So specifically for the first level design, the Well of Souls, he actually gave he actually drew a small plan and then 2D plan, and then asked me to realize this plan in my own art style, basically. And how that looks like is sometimes I start with a sketch for one of the future levels, for one of the further levels, excuse me. I actually did start with a sketch while I was at the hospital. I sketched out the whole room, and I sketched out basically the whole idea whilst communicating with Code Guide the whole way. And then we realized that room in 3D.
No,
So usually
yeah.
the 3D process starts with some small blockouts with very primitive shapes. So shapes such as cylinders, cubes,
Mhm.
spheres, stuff like that. Basically lacking any detail whatsoever, just to get a whole feel for the room. And the reason that it's actually quite possible to do all of this in 2D, but it would take about 20 times as long. The
Mhm.
reason that it's so convenient to do this in 3D is because you get much faster feedback and you can change the camera angles momentarily. Whereas if you do this whole process in 2D, you would have to redraw each camera angle
Mhm.
and such. And the plus of making it in 3D as well is that you can make cool animations like we did for our trailer
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, you can reuse the art while you're making it. That's really cool. We can take
Exactly.
a little break from the art. We can go back to that, but probably Priest is back, so that's awesome. And if you wanna like finish your thought, that would be great if you can remember that.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I can definitely finish my thought, but I have no idea when it disconnected because my phone screen just, like, timed out because it was trying to save battery. So that's why I disconnected. So I apologize on that. I had no idea that that happened.
No worries.
Um, so DeFi Tower comes from the inspiration of NFTs and bringing functionality to every project on Harmony. Our founder believes very much that any project being worked on, any project being worth investing in has to bring utility to the chain itself in some way. So instead of spending a bunch of time trying to write a quick LP contract and focus on making a quick buck and then make a game later on the back end, because of the level of professionalism of the team and the number of established people that we have, we focused on making the game first and making sure that we launch something that's functional beforehand. The the inspirations from Tower of God. The game can on the lore side, the game takes place after the biblical days of apocalypse. I apologize, I'm not the lore writer. That's Fizz, so I'm summarizing from his speech yesterday. And there's like two factions. One faction feels as if the tower is the way to ascend to be closer to a god, and the other tower doesn't really believe that there is a god, and so they're at odds. The key cards that you'll drop give you access to the tower, or you can pay money to you pay with an LP an initial liquidity to be able to play the game.
Cool. I wanted to
But
ask.
lore wise, the key cards like all open the stuff to allow all of us to access the tower.
Okay, that's really cool. I wanted to ask two things. The first one was if you could describe this game, like comparing it to some other game, because I'm getting like RuneScape vibe. Is this what we're gonna be seeing, like an RPG that you can like walk around and do quests and stuff? Is that something like we're gonna be seeing, or is it gonna be more like Defi, right? Is it just a place you jump from room to room and you do your things, or is it like actually where you can walk around and stuff?
For sure, it's absolutely starting with the latter, right? There's multiple rooms that DocLock has designed, and right now everything's 2D in the browser. So,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, where they started 18 months ago and where we want to be now with our designs on things is a little different. And we can scale that through DocLocks are already being in 3D at all times. So we already know what we'd want levels to look like in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't have the budget to be making things at that scale.
Yeah.
I would say that our goal is for it to be more like RuneScape. I would say that RuneScape is probably right in line with the level of game that we're looking to try to be
Cool.
on the gaming effect side. I know that the questing that we're starting with is like very basic, and I know that it's kind of like, okay, cool, man. It's where we're starting, right? But everywhere starts somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And where we're going, where the level of collaboration that we have from all the team members on their input takes what we have as a really decent basic idea, and then we kind of all spitball for a little bit, and then code guy goes away for like a couple days and then comes back and it's like, I've decided we're going to do A, B, and C, and it's some amalgamation of all of the nonsense that we send to him.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of work that goes into that aspect is really very difficult. So to just summarize, their gameplay is going to start very similar to other DeFi games. Okay, be very similar that way. However, it is going to change from there as we add levels. So the level one starts more basic, level two gets more intricate, level three would continue to do so. And we look to be about hopefully around a level every 6 weeks or so. So we look to have some type of consistent drop of content, and that content will continue to be iterative. It will continue to have the options for you to go backwards and forwards, and you'll need to do more things. And I would say that on my end, where I would want the game to probably kind of get steered toward, would be a closer to the Mist, if that makes sense,
Okay.
where when you're solving puzzles and you're figuring out things on that end. I know we want to do PvP. Some of the PvP stuff that I would love to be able to do, we kind of have some ideas, but I don't think it's interactive enough yet for it to be a skill-based PvP. It would be more RNG-based, and I'm not sure that that's the experience we want to have. However, it could be what we want to have. But these are the talks we need to have with the community, because like the dev time for PvP is probably 9 to 12 months out if we only have two devs. You know what I mean? Like that's, but we need to work for that long, right? Because we have to build up code, we have to write everything, and we want to make sure that we do what the people want to do and the experience they would like, and try to find a balance between what's actually achievable and what we want to do, and hopefully get much more closer to what we want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's a good idea that you're like doing it by stages or by levels, because it allows you to test the water slowly with the different people. And I guess that leads me to the next question: is this a game that we can play now, or when can we start playing it?
So it will launch within the next month.
Okay.
They We are very committed to launching in July. Market conditions have changed dramatically. However, that's where our commitment is. That's where we are, and we do really believe that we will be able to do that. And we think that even in a bear market, it could be really successful because the game itself can be a niche market for people who are looking to be more relaxed. Right? It doesn't have to be something you spend 27 hours in over 2 days doing. It could be something you can come into, so, like a Stardew Valley type. Or
Yeah.
maybe you're in a puzzle level and you want to spend as much time as you need to figure out what you actually have to do.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we want to build to. And I think that being iterative and dropping one level, a second. I mean, we to be clear, we have multiple made already, but we're only going to drop one at a time to make sure that we can change things that need to get changed. I know Doc Clock kind of appreciates having a little bit more time to work on his art. He's a little bit younger than the rest of the team, but I mean the stuff that he comes up with is just so. I It is the reason I invested in the project. When
Yeah.
I saw the art, I was like, yeah, man, I'm in. Whatever, I don't care.
Yeah,
I didn't even
we were
work for the
talking
project
about
at
it
the time,
before,
so
and one of the things that I mentioned to him is that right now that like once this drops, it's gonna be like probably the best looking game on the Harmony One blockchain, like for real, because it looks very very good.
then that's kind of where the standard was set extremely high, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Doc Clock literally hit it, but to use any sports analogy you'd like to for being amazing, that's exactly what Doc Clock did. And to see where it goes, we've been sharing this process a little bit, so people can kind of understand, because I don't think people who aren't artistic get the level of nerddom that
Mm-hmm.
fans out over the stuff he works on. And it's kind of amazing to just be someone who enjoys people work really hard. But he's got such a talent that we need to bring everything else to that level.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where and our lead dev decided that he needed people who had more experience in games to help influence the game, because we look at what he makes, right? We look at the art that he creates. It's like, oh, we outkicked our coverage. Like it's like marrying a really, 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 really attractive person when you're not attractive. You're like,
See,
how did I do this? Like, how did I make this happen?
yeah, you got
So yeah, that's what we're working
that's
towards.
funny. That's funny. Um, I guess I wanted to ask, now that we're talking about this. What did you all do before Web3, and have you been? How long exactly have you been working on this game? Like, you to be up. How long have you been part of the game, and what did you do before being a part of the game? Because all that talent and all that skill cannot come just from like the first time you started doing 3D. So, tell us a little bit more about your background. I guess whichever one wants to start, you can go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll
sure.
start because mine's easy.
Okay.
I come from being in management, sales, data analytics, and I come from launching products in the real world. I've brought multiple products to market, so I understand the life chain, and I've brought in for business slash community management experience. But Doc Clock's got all the art, bro. That's all him. I'm gonna mute myself and let him talk.
Yeah.
So I come from an architectural background. I finished architecture school last year, actually. And straight after that, I went into working with an outsourced company out of California, working as a 3D modeler for a mobile game, modeling props, basically. It was a furniture placement type of game where you decorate your apartments and stuff.
Cool.
So after that, I spent a lot of time in architectural studios doing lots of visualizations. Sorry about that. And I've always been developing my traditional artistic skills
Yeah.
ever since I was young, ever since I was a kid. I've had a natural inclination to this sort of thing,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Cool. Cool. I guess my next question was gonna be what sets your project apart from all the Harmony One projects, but I think we've answered that with the RPG aspect and the awesome level of art. But if you have any other little things that you think will differentiate this game and set it apart from other projects in the system, I'd love to hear them.
Um, there's no LP dropping, so you're not going to be able to just go in and put like 25 G's into our game and then get a bunch of our token and then cash it out and then
Mhm.
crash the economy. You've got to play. Um, you don't have to buy a key card to play, so there's no required NFT to participate in the game. So we're lowering the barrier of entry.
Mhm.
Um, we will have trading. So if you've got a bunch of NFTs that you don't want from a project, and you've got a friend that has none, and your friend kind of wants to play the game, you'd be able to give them that, and then they'd be able to have those benefits as well, and then they could trade it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
On that kind of front, and I think that's kind of a neat thing. And the last thing that's going to differentiate us is we believe in growing Harmony as a blockchain and as a community. So we will be partnering with current projects to have levels that are inspired by their art, whether that's dot clock looking at their stuff and going, all right, that's not going to be a little kids thing anymore. I'm going to make that real dark, or it's them collaborating with Doc Clock. That remains to be seen. I don't want to speak for him and his process and how that's going to go, but I do, and I kind of do apologize for giving him that work. But we'd like there to be a way for people to have more fun with the stuff they have on Harmony, other than just letting it sitting in their wallet and wondering if it's ever going to go up or down.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
That's
and,
that's great.
and I think that's the
Hmm.
yeah. More
Yeah.
power to the masses. Have fun, play games.
Yeah. I
I do
think
have a
it's.
question based on the
Absolutely.
you mentioned earlier. Uh, if somebody wanted to, let's say, make something for you guys, they needed to be verified. Like, how would that be? What's the process of the verification for other artists to be able to collaborate with you guys?
Sure. First, we're going to start with established prod. Like we have, I know Harmony Punks and Harmonauts are where we're starting on the older projects we're starting with. And I believe Moon Robots has committed to working with us right now as a current project. And as far as getting people wanting to be verified, what we'd want to do is we'd want to reach out to me. You can join our Discord and speak to probably Priest. We will then, set up procedures because I'm going to be completely frank, guys, we haven't done that yet. But that's going to be the first step. The first step for pretty much everything is going to be reach out to me so we can get together with the team and make a decision. We're all over the world, so it's easier to have a one central point of contact,
Mhm.
and then we'll go from there. That's kind of what we've been doing in with a bunch of different things, and I think that's going to be successful. So I will not be the person who decides whether or not we work with you guys or anybody, but we will do it as a team. We will have a global limit on the number of NFTs that we will allow, not from any one specific project, but just in general.
Mhm.
So we don't want to expand anything too quickly. We'd like to expand with the rate of players. So that's kind of what we're going to work with on the first level with everybody, is trying to max up, see what daily player count is, what daily interactive player, what they're interacting with, what they're doing, and how many we can put in, allow into the game without crashing the economy, essentially.
Cool. Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It
we're
seems
not
like.
going to allow.
Mhm. You can. Sorry.
Oh, no, no. Yeah, it seems like we're trying very hard to not let people earn something that just kind of gets devalued
Yeah.
because it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
We don't really believe in that, and I think that's kind of where we're going to try to set ourselves apart. Is rising tide raises all boats, and we want to bring utility, and that's kind of the game plan. Is even if it's not just with with harmony projects, maybe we branch out later in the future. Maybe we don't. Probably not, but you're only having one LP, Harmony and Soul. You know what I mean? So,
Mhm.
I'm very excited for where we're headed. It's really interesting, and it's going to be kind of fun.
It sounds very fun and it sounds very innovative. Innovative, which I think it's like the cure for bear markets is innovation. And I think you guys are doing a really, really, really good work at what you're doing and what you're trying to bring to the Harmony One blockchain. And I think it's gonna be a good thing for sure. I love that you're working with other people in the in the ecosystem, and I like the integration of other NFTs into your own um game. That I've never seen that. That's it's really cool. It gives power to other people and to projects that have for a long time just like sat on the back burner of people's wallets and just what's gonna happen, so it's great to see you creating something that's gonna give value to all these other projects. That's really wonderful. Love that. uh
and and
yeah.
and I'd like to just say that we also like the art that the community makes, whether it's our stuff, which Doc Lock is amazing. I'm not sure if anyone has seen Arcadian's art
Mm-hmm.
from Mando. How amazing some of that stuff looks. The If we bring light to everybody, everyone benefits, and it's just there's just so much talent. There's just so much working right now for success here. It's just really interesting to be close to the ground floor. Like you said, in the bear market is when people are very innovative, and that's when they're able to identify the trends of
Mm-hmm.
where things are going. And I think us trying to lower the barrier of entry, especially in a bar and bear market, it will allow us to be able to bring in more market share.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to. We don't believe there's any games out there very much like ours, so we don't feel like we're stealing from anybody else on the chain. So we don't feel like we're cannibalizing anybody else's, dreams.
Mm-hmm.
We just want everybody to have the opportunity to play some fun games and tell some cool stories and get their mind blown by some art that Dot Clock makes.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. How can people get involved today? Like, can they join a whitelist? Can they get those key cards now? Do they have to wait? What can people do today to start being a part of this?
So currently, if people like our project and want to tip us and would like to, um, help support the project, they can buy whitelist tickets for 10-1 each. All of those proceeds go to supporting the project. Dev costs, trying to have a big LP pool, and then whitelist tickets will give you the opportunity to buy a key card, uh, or and possibly even get a discount on that key card. On that key card is an NFT that brings two perks to your character, each one individually, and they do stack. So your character will have two perks per key card. All right. The first one's going to be unlocked on day one, so that'll give you some type of bonus to either farming or your components that drop. It's all going to be RNG based, and then you will be able to buy them on day one. Day seven, we will launch level one because all key card holders will get airdrops token to start their LP farming, so they have some soul to unlock when they start playing.
Nice, nice,
Um,
nice.
and From there, the money spent on key cards will be utilized to start our initial liquidity,
Okay, and that's gonna be
essentially.
on NFT
And
key, right? That's where you can get the key cards.
you'll be able to you'll be able to mint them on NFT key, and I believe tofu NFT. I
Mm-hmm.
could be wrong on tofu. I know NFT key, you can definitely be able to do that there. You will also be able to get a first-hand experience on what one of our mechanics looks like by when you unbox your whitelist ticket. So anyone who listens to this, joins our Discord, and sends me a message with your OX address, I will send you, and I'm probably priest. I will send you a whitelist ticket, and you then can go to our website, connect your wallet. You'll see in your inventory there's a whitelist ticket. You in the bottom corner, you click unbox. You'll be able to unbox it, and you'll see if you get one for free, possibly, or discounted, so it's less than 751, or if you can just get the opportunity to buy a key card. Key cards will only be for sale through whitelist tickets. So even if whitelist tickets go out and somebody doesn't use it forever, and we're not out of key cards, we may need to buy those and work on that. I mentioned two perks on the key cards. The second perk launches when all of our key cards are sold.
Okay, interesting. You're not gonna say what it is, huh? A little secret.
Well, so no, there'll be two on your character. So
Oh,
like there'll be two perks. So you'll see exactly what you can get if we reach the all of our key cards sold.
okay. Cool, 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 cool.
So and those will still stack between multiple key cards. So if you have multiple key cards, your bonuses will stack.
Nice, nice. Yeah, I guess we're reaching the end of the interview now. I think it's been great to see that what you've been creating and to talk about the project in a more in a more in-depth look towards it, and we're excited to see it come to fruition and to see it live in the next month. It sounds wonderful. I wanted to ask, seeing the recent issues with harmony and all the things that have been happening, how would your project withstand in times of crisis? What do you think is going to make your project still keep afloat? What makes it secure?
So I believe one of the best parts for us is that our single stake liquidity is going to mean we're tied directly just to Harmony. Okay, so you'll have our token, you'll have Harmony. That's a single LP. Um, that means if we're in a crisis and the entire economy is crashing, you have to make one, two changes to get out.
Mhm.
Right? You could sell all your soul to Harmony, get all your Harmony to an exchange, cash out.
Mhm.
Right? Like so there's that option. But more specifically, like for the small barrier of entry, and in the times of crisis, we're making it so that people can find something to not feel like they're spending a crap ton of money on in a time when we're all dealing with uncertainty.
Mhm.
Um, we are looking at everything right now in our market and just like, okay, brutal time to probably launch right now, right? Like every project faces adversity. If the adversity is when you launch, the great. It can only go uphill. It can only get better from there, right? Essentially, and there's a tremendous amount of opportunity in these times of crisis. And if we're able to build a community that's supportive and that has an outlet that isn't super expensive at a time when we're all losing a bunch of money, we think that that might be a little bit, kind of a respite for people, especially with us opening up older projects and allowing people who have, kind of gotten kicked a little bit to give some new life. We all deserve a win every now and then.
Yeah.
We don't have to just, you know, take it on the chin repeatedly, man. Like, oof.
Yeah, we've been doing that for a while now, so it's great to see you have that mindset, right?
Oh, dude, 33. Oh, I want to say that on the
Yeah.
podcast. Never mind.
Wonderful, wonderful. So where can people find you guys separately? And the projects, of course, like talk about Discord, the website, your social medias, all those things.
I'm probably priest on everything, Twitch, so Twitter, Discord, all that jazz. Just go ahead and send me a message and say what's up. DefiTower for our Twitter, at DefiTower.one for our website, docs.DefiTower.one for our documentation to see what is going on in the back end.
Mm.
We keep everything pretty transparent. We do not share, we're not open source code, so you're not going to see that, but you will see distributions, what our liquidity pools are going to look like, all that kind of jazz.
Cool, cool. So we're like almost done with this, and but before we go, I think we talked about a lot of things about the project. But is there anything else you think you'd like to say before we sign off? I'd like to have like a little answer for both of you, like one last thing to tell the audience what's up. Anything we might have
Go for it,
missed,
Doc.
anything like that.
You see there?
So repeat that.
What's that?
He needs you to repeat the question. It sounds like his background noise.
I think we covered all the questions, but anything else you think we didn't cover? Like I don't know. I think it's interesting that you're doing the game in 3D, but right now you're showcasing it in 2D. I think that's a very interesting aspect of the game. Perhaps we could talk a little bit about that and about the influence of the art behind the game. For since we have Dot Clock here, I think it'd be cool to maybe tell he could tell us about his inspirations for like the kind of stuff that he makes. Is there a movie, a comic, a game himself that he likes that he can take inspiration from?
So yeah, definitely. I'm sure all of you guys have heard of Blade Runner.
Mm-hmm.
That's quite a big inspiration for this as well. Also, things such as Judge Dredd
Mm,
and basically the entire cyberpunk genre
yeah.
is quite a big inspiration.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, if you guys are good, I think this has been a wonderful interview. I thank you very much for it. And this has been uh, the second episode of the Best of Harmony One podcast. We thank our guests, Proudly Priest and Dot Clock from the DefiTower team. And thank you for coming, guys. Have a wonderful evening.